Well, here we are again. Harley-Davidson doing another unveil, this time for the 2024 bikes. I have some thoughts about this. You knew I would. This is Bikes, Beards, and Brews. Let's kick that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we kick this one off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. New videos are coming weekly. You ring that bell, you know when they drop. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Want to save 10% on our Krew communicator or save some money on some Beyond Riders gear or some Kemimoto gear? Then you should definitely check my referral links down below. Want to support me and all my do-gooderness like these cool guys here? Bam! Then you should become part of the Brew Crew and join the coffee page down below. Want to know why I'm asking you for money? Well, next to those 10,000 Amazon affiliate links that also go to a good cause is a video explaining what I do with your money. Get it? Got it? Cool. Let's move on. All right, guys, so today we're talking about Harley-Davidson's first unveil announcement, whatever you want to call it, of 2024, where they debuted some new bikes. It happened on January 2024. I highly suggest you go check out the video because it is entertaining in its own right. The one thing that Harley really does well is they try and get that whole dramatic thing going. Like 9 times out of 10, it just really feels like a preview to like the next Zack Snyder film or something. I'm expecting like all kinds of explosions and stuff to start happening, and like, you know, some girl or some guy there like, don't leave me, I won't. Like they do that in spades. It is fantastic. Well, that didn't happen, but they did show us some new bikes, and that's what I want to get into. And this isn't going to be a video where I'm just like, ah, Harley sucks, they missed the mark, everything sucks. They did some stuff really right here, and they did some stuff really wrong here. So I want to get into both because honestly, I feel like there was a lot of good and there was a lot of bad. And depending on where you land on the internet, you're either going to see people taking it to one extreme or the other. I'd like to give you something a little bit more balanced. We'll see how that goes, all right? Now, first and foremost, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which are the new Street Glide and Road Glide 2024 Harley CVOs. First and foremost, I want to say the paint looks awesome. They nailed it. Thank you for not like going out to gunslingers or all these other stuff, keeping it in-house. You guys have painted bikes for years and years. You've done a great job. Why outsource it? You're doing it right. And this is further proof. Like the Copperhead and the Legendary Orange look awesome. They came out great. No complaints. Honestly, Legendary Orange, not quite something I would buy, but I respect it. It looks cool. I get it. And I like the fact that it's a throwback to like the original paint jobs they're doing in the second generation of the CVOs. I'm assuming they didn't do much for like paint in the first generation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have skipped the first year and went to the second year. That's something they talk about in the video, that like this paint is a throwback to the second year of the CVO. Nonetheless, it looks good. I like it. Harley is doing exactly what Harley does. It's great. I also like the scorched chrome that they use. So normally I like just blacking out my bike because I don't like to shine and polish things. However, the scorched chrome looks good, and Harley's been doing this over the last couple of years. They've been putting out different variations of chrome, so it's not just like straight chrome. It's got some sort of tint or mirror effect or shading or something going on, and it looks good. I like this. Harley, keep doing this. This looks awesome. So the base price did go up. These new CVOs are $44,000 MSRP starting price. Now, if you look back at the 2023s, they started at $42,000, and that was for that dark platinum, which, let's be honest, was just silver. So they have gone up a little, kind of expect it, but honestly, when you're grading on a curve, these prices are still in like, you know, what Harley has been charging for like the last 5 or 6 years or so for CVOs, give or take a year. So nothing really crazy here. I'm not really going to harp on this. Yes, these are overpriced bikes. Yes, they are expensive, but it is right along the lines of what you would expect from Harley. I actually would have been more upset if the starting price was like $50,000 and then going up from there. So good on Harley for actually keeping the prices within, you know, the margins that they normally do. Whatever, that works. Now here's my big issue with these CVOs. So this year Harley is celebrating the 25th anniversary of CVOs, and they've put these out that, you know, leading the charge and all that, dropping in January. But the problem is they just redesigned their fairings and all that stuff, and they just put out the redesigned CVOs 6 months ago. This is not a good cycle. It should have been at least a year apart. Honestly, Harley should have just not put out Road Glide and Street Glide CVOs for 2023. Give it that 1 year break, and in January come out strong with the Copperhead and the Legendary Orange, because these look great. And honestly, these make 2023's colors just look sad. Again, like 2023, they called it dark platinum. It was glorified silver with some pinstriping, and then they had the whiskey neat. Both of these colors pale in comparison towards the 2024 models. And now Harley, again, like I said in my past video, Harley has that CVO problem because they just flooded their dealerships with these 2023 CVOs. As I mentioned in my last video, 1 week ago, I looked at the Manchester Harley dealership and they had 27 CVOs sitting on the floor of mixed variations. So like the whiskey neats, the silvers, the Road Glide, Street Glide, whatever. I could walk right in, put down the money and ride out with one. That is how much of a surplus they have. And now they're gonna have the 2024s coming in, and somehow you have to like push people to buy the 2024s or try and convince them to still buy a 2023. You're gonna see those 2023s sitting on the sales floor for probably years to come. This is not well thought out by Harley. They really should have just taken 2023 off and then put out this redesign. It would have been so much better. The other thing I found completely hilarious is during the video, and if you go look at the bike on the website, they talk about how they used all this different like CAD designing, and they made sure that they put these bikes in wind tunnels and they designed it to be incredibly aerodynamic and all this stuff. Harley, you should maybe not talk about that as much as you have been. For those of you not aware, 100% of the original Street Glide CVOs were recalled that were released in 2023. They were released, I want to say, all the way up until October 2023. So the original batch, which was over 1,000, were recalled because they were lifting up on the front when they were going too fast. So the wind was getting under the fairing, pulling up on the thing and causing people to lose control and all that stuff. Harley's fix was to strap a chunk of metal to the front of the bike under the fairing and to down tune the bike a little bit. Maybe fire the guy who did the aerodynamics. He clearly doesn't understand how aerodynamics work. B, get a new program for your CAD design or whatever the hell you're using, because that one failed miserably. And C, kind of bury this a little bit. Don't be proud of this. This was your first huge recall. So it's not something to be proud of, guys. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the Road Glide ST CVO. Now, one of the things I don't think a lot of people have noticed or mentioned so far is this is the only Road Glide ST you can get. There is no longer just a Road Glide ST. They did not release that as well. You get the Road Glide ST CVO and that's it. That is your option, nothing else. That sucks. When the Road Glide ST was first released, it had a $30,000 price tag, which I've said many times I feel like is too high, because when they released it, they said that this bike is a platform to build upon, to make your performance bike, to make your performance bagger. They gave it shorty bags, they gave it the CVO engine, they like did all this other stuff, and then you were supposed to finish it off. $30,000 for a bike that I have to finish is absolutely ridiculous. Now, they went ahead and just put out the CVO version where they finished it off for you. This has a lot of cool stuff on it. I like that carbon fiber fender on the front. I like the carbon fiber tips on the exhaust. I like the inlay with the carbon fiber. The stuff they did with the carbon fiber looks cool, although the stuff on the exhaust, let's be honest, anyone who's building a performance bike is getting rid of that exhaust right away, so goodbye carbon fiber tip. That was pointless. And Harley should kind of realize that as well. Realize that nobody buying a Harley is like, that exhaust is great, I'll keep that one. So like, don't invest too much in that. But again, I do like those carbon fiber inlays. I like the new engine guard. I like a lot of the aesthetics they put on. They did a really good job making this bike look good. I'm not quite a fan of the white one, mainly because I don't like that big goofy eagle that goes down the side. I know that this is one of those things where, you know, purists will enjoy it. Newer people, probably not so much. I do really like the black one. That one looks awesome. That is a great looking bike. But one of the other problems here is, like I mentioned, it was supposed to be a platform you built on at $30,000. It is now a $43,000 MSRP bike. So if you buy this bike and you still want to make changes, you are getting well past the $50,000 mark. Want to get rid of that exhaust? Yeah, that's going up. Want to like tune this bike? Want to do anything like that? It's gonna cost you, and it's gonna cost a lot. So a bike that was supposed to be a platform, you've now taken away, and you're like, screw it, this is what you get, deal with it. I don't like that. I would have liked it if they still had the ST and they did the ST CVO. That would have been fine. That would have been, you know, whatever. All right, so now let's move on to the Road Glide and the Street Glide. And honestly, I don't have much nice to say about this. I honestly feel like both of these bikes were a complete afterthought, and Harley just straight up did not care about these. And this is sad because, like, I drive a Road Glide Special. I love my bike. It's great. But this, they have taken away so many of your choices, and they have increased prices, and it's just insane. So it used to be you could choose between a standard or a special, and there were differences between the two. For example, if you bought the special, you had a bigger head unit for the stereo, you had bigger speakers, you had different rims, which I think were actually 1 inch larger in the front. You had all your blacked out engine, although in later years they gave you the option of choosing chrome if you wanted to, so you could go black or chrome, which was pretty cool. That was a good thing. You had your stretched bags and a couple other things. Like the special was very well separated from the standard. The big difference is the standard used to be give or take, you were looking at about 23,000, and then with the special you were looking at 27 or 28,000. So, you know, there was a price difference, but there was enough to make it worth it. And to me, those Street Glides and Road Glides, those standards, those were the true builder bikes. You could buy those and you could get them fairly affordable when it comes to Harley. You could have a bagger at a fairly affordable price that you could truly customize and do whatever you want with. That's gone. It is fully gone. So now what you're looking at is just a Road Glide or a Street Glide where you have to make a couple choices. If you wanted to go with a blacked out engine and black paint, you're looking at about 28,000, which puts it right in line with what they were charging for specials previously. If you were to get a base model special in black paint, the problem is you no longer get stretched bags. You no longer get rims that are different from like the standard. There is nothing separating this from a standard because it's just one bike now. And you're really, in essence, paying more for it, because when you get that black bike with the blacked out engine, you're not getting the stretched bags, you're not getting an upgraded stereo, you're not getting an upgraded head unit, you're not getting any of that. It is just one bike where you choose the color of your paint, the color of like your steel, your sheet metal, whatever, if you want chrome or black, and then you move on. So this has been quite a price hike, and they only have one option for $26,000. If you go to their website, it says starting at $26,000. This is the one option. You get that primer gray that they call billiard gray, and you get chrome, and that is it. That is the only bike you can buy at $26,000. Past that, the paint job is $600 for black, $850 for anything else, and then it's like $1,400 to like black out the engine. Harley, you guys suck. Like, this is awful. Harley is making it abundantly clear in their actions. They don't want you to buy this bike. They want you to buy something with a CVO logo on it, and that's it. They have put a ton of time and effort into their CVOs, as they should, and they just want you to buy those. These are afterthoughts now. Same thing. The suspension is exactly the same as it was on the 2023s before like the redesign. The brakes are the same. So really all they did was change the fairings and the sheet metal and then just push it out there. They finally went to all LEDs. Congratulations. Like, you are way too late on that one, but you're finally there. So I mean, you know, high five to that. They do have the 117 engine. They don't use the VVT. That is reserved for the CVO models. So it is an M8 with a 117. That part is good. I mean, high five to them there. They cleaned up the front fairing a little bit, or the front fender, so it's not this big bulky sort of mass that it's been in years prior. So it does look better, but they cut a lot of corners. This is just sad. Whatever, let's move on. All right, and finally, they released the Pan America CVO. Now, there are two Pan Americas you can buy in the US now, the Special and the CVO. They got rid of the Standard. So before it was the Standard and the Special, now it's the Special and the CVO, so you still only get two choices. The problem is you have to get two of the more expensive choices, not the more affordable choice. And one of the big issues that Harley has been having with the Pan America is they just absolutely refuse to listen to the people that want to ride an adventure bike. For years, since the Pan America first came out, people have been asking for a smaller, lighter, cheaper version of the Pan America so they could ride that. That is what they want. That is what they want to go on adventures with. Instead, Harley responded with, let's go bigger and more expensive. How much more tone deaf can you get? Are you just not listening? Don't answer that. We know you aren't. The thing is, the Pan America CVO, the paint, again, looks awesome. This bike looks awesome. I mean, this bike looks awesome. I really like the way this bike came out. The features are great. This is a nice looking bike. But what I've been finding with these Harley like unveiling videos is they always hire one person to say the dumbest thing on the face of the planet. When they released the Sportster Sports, those things had the TFT screen, and you could now have, like, you know, you could link that to your phone and you could have Google Maps and all that. They literally had somebody who worked for them. It wasn't just someone they pulled off the street say, oh, this is great. Up until now, the only way you could get directions is by taping them to your gas tank. Because the company that sells cell phone holders at every dealership couldn't figure out another way to get directions on your Sportster aside from going to MapQuest, printing them out and taping them to the gas tank. In, what was it, 2022 that bike came out? Yeah, good job, Harley. Really thought that script through. Maybe that should have had one more pass through before you released it. And then, like, when they released the CVOs last year, when they did like this touring model Road Glide thing, whatever, they had the guy who was like, oh, let's see if my cowboy hat fits in the trunk. Oh, it does. Well, that's a good indication to me that it's plenty roomy. Really? A cowboy hat? Like, you're like, oh, it can fit a cowboy hat. The saddlebags can fit a cowboy hat. Like, what are we doing here? So this time they were like, oh, this CVO has this amazing paint job. We did this, we did some layers of this, we did this, and quite honestly, it's awesome. They did a lot of work. And again, I recommend watching the video. They show some cuts of them actually like painting these bikes, masking it off, hand laying stuff, hand painting stuff. I mean, it looks great. But then the guy goes, oh, and then there's going to be the final layer of paint, which is getting the mud, scratches, and dents on it, because that's what you really want. You know what somebody who just spent $30,000 on an adventure touring bike with a nice paint job doesn't want? Scratches, dents, and mud all over their really nice $30,000 paint job. This bike is not going off-road. And honestly, you got to sit back and go, who is this bike for? Because it's really nice. It is. But this is like one of those things where it's like so nice, you don't want to get it dirty. This, and I've seen this in comments already, this is going to be a Starbucks bike, a Dunkin' Donuts bike, a bike night bike. This thing is not going to see dirt. This thing is going to go to different places for you to buy coffee. This is going to be owned by the person who also buys a huge jacked up Jeep Wrangler 4-door with the tow kit and the giant knobby tires and the huge suspension, and then just uses it to go get groceries. That is who is going to own this bike. This is not going to be an adventure bike. This is just wasted effort. And the biggest problem I see with this is Harley is not really working to make this bike succeed. And I mean the Pan America in general. Again, people are asking for a smaller, lighter, cheaper one. That's what they want to use. Harley keeps giving you bigger, heavier, more expensive ones. I priced, this bike versus other companies who are also making adventure bikes who are prominent in the field. And, this bike is $5,000 to $10,000 more expensive than its competitors. Who is this bike for? And when this thing gets folded and like tucked into the back of the Harley Museum and they cancel it, they're gonna be like, well, the market just wasn't there. The market's not there for what you're trying to do. You want somebody who wants to spend a fortune on a bike and an adventure bike and just go ride it to Starbucks. That's not what they're for. You're not targeting the correct market. That is why these are going to fail. Anyway, that's what I got. That's what I took from this whole thing. There's a ton of other stuff I'm sure I missed. Honestly, this could be an hour-long video. This could be a 6-part, 6-hour-long video. So sound off down below. What did you see during this release? What did you like? What didn't you like? What would you have liked to see? Sound off down below. Let's hear it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share this video with friends, share it with family, share it with that one dude you meet on a Pan America CVO, and dude's sitting in a Starbucks waiting for his latte to get done. He loves this stuff, trust me. I'll see you all on the flip side.